So Big John Fury's finally come out of hiding after Tyson Fury lost to Usyk twice. We've not really heard from him an awful lot since those two fights because he's probably a bit embarrassed because all that talk about being a fighting man. I'm a fighting man. My son's a fighting man. Turns out he's not a fighting man. He's a well, he is. Well, he's not a bum, but he lost. And the Furies can't handle losses very well. Okay, and turns out Tommy Fury had a fight yesterday. Didn't even know about it. Watched the highlights. He looked shit. He looked really, really terrible. And we had this interview from 2 days ago from John Fury. He talks about Tyson versus Usyk. All right, we're going to get into it. Some delusional takes, some I agree with, but a little bit of backpedaling and narrative changing of John Fury, which we'll get into when it comes to it. I have got all these timestamps here. All right, we're going to get into it. It'll probably be quite a long one. I would imagine 25 minutes, half an hour. Sit back, enjoy. Okay, and we're going to listen to John Fury. We've got the first point here. Okay, so we're going to just listen, and then we're going to react.
I want to get into the conversation surrounding Tyson Fury. And first of all, the breakdown from the second fight with Alexander Usyk. Just set the table for me in terms of what you made of that fight and Tyson's performance.
Well, first and foremost, he had his belt stolen off him, didn't he? He had them stolen off him.
Nope. He didn't actually, John. He actually lost the fair and square, mate. So first of all, he had his belt stolen from him, didn't he? No. Oh, John, I'm sick of the Furies not being able to take losses well. Just say, none of them can give Usyk any credit. It's just robbery. He got his belt stolen. No, he didn't. He got outboxed. He didn't win either of those fights. They don't know how to handle losses. In their eyes, Furies never lose. In their eyes and their mindset, the Fury bloodline, they can't lose. They'll never lose. If they do lose, it's not a loss because everyone's against them. That's how the brain works because they're all just slow. They're all just thick. You didn't get the belt stolen, John. You utter fucking melt. You were probably part of the problem. In the first fight, screaming in the but we'll come on to that. He's got a delusional take about his role in Tyson's corner, and we'll get to it because it's a crazy take. It's a delusional take, but it's from John Fury, so we don't expect anything else, do we? Let's carry on though.
To be honest with you, and what can you say? When somebody's paid you a shed load of money, they seem to resent letting you stay champion as well, don't they? You know, and for my money, you probably didn't want to pay him the same amount again. Probably couldn't afford to pay Tyson that same money again if he'd let him remain as champion. For me, he won both fights.
So in John's mind, the reason why they robbed Tyson Fury is because Saudi Arabia couldn't afford to pay him for a third fight. Saudi Arabia couldn't afford Tyson Fury for a third. That's why they robbed him. Because they just couldn't afford it. That's a great theory, John. I have another theory. Maybe he just lost the fight because Usyk's better than him. You ever think of that one? Does that ever cross your mind? No? Oh, well, he got robbed because they couldn't afford him for the next fight. That is the most clown shit I've ever heard. You're a delusional clown, John Fury. Just accept the loss, man. Come on. You're a clown. That's the weirdest excuse for a robbery I've ever heard in my entire life. They couldn't afford him, so they instead robbed him. We go to 10-10 for the next point. It's just weird cope. I didn't expect anything less, but I did not expect John Fury to come out and say, "You know what, Usyk? Usyk beat my son fair and square. He's a better man." There's no way he was going to say that, right? It was always going to be cope. Always. Always, always, always. Let's carry on, though. 10-10, the next point.
The second time, I never got involved at all because, you know, my own personal reasons, which I'm not going to go into because there's no need to because the horse has bolted. But
the reasons are, John, was because in the first fight, you were a mess. You were shouting over Sugar Hill in the corner. Sugar was trying to give Tyson instructions, and you were shouting over him. It was ridiculous. That corner work for the first fight was in shambles. I don't even know why you were in there. You're not his coach. Shouting over Sugar Hill, trying to give him like contradictory advice in the corner. That's why you weren't. You probably weren't welcome, John. Tyson and Sugar Hill probably said, "You're not welcome to be in my corner. You're not getting involved now because you just cause problems." But he's not going to get into it because the horse has already bolted. I guess, whatever that means.
Tyson could be in a lot better shape, let's put it that way. And I'm going to end on that. You know, you can have a look at him when he's in there. If you put the work in, hard work, you just don't look like that. I know he's always been a little overweight, but you know something, you've got to look like you've done something. And unfortunately, he didn't look like that. But how good is he when he can perform with the best in the world who's had the knackers washed for him?
I agree with John Fury on that point. Tyson was in terrible shape. I think he was at his career heaviest. He had 50 pounds over Usyk. I know Usyk's not a big guy anyway, but I do agree with him there. I do agree. You know, he was way out of shape. And I said in the build-up, I think the extra weight's going to slow him down. And it did. You know, he slowed down as the fight went on. And that's just how it is. But this is the same guy. They used to brag about the fat man beating everyone. You don't need to be in good shape. I don't need to be a bodybuilder. I'm a fat man. I'm a fat man. You got beat by a fat man. That's what he said to Klitschko. You got beat by a fat man. Now all of a sudden it's, well, he was just too fat in there. He was just too fat. It's okay being a little bit fat, but he was too fat in there. You know? Up until this point, no one's ever said to Tyson, "Oh, Tyson, you need to be in shape. You need to be in better shape." And he goes into it a little further on what he thinks Tyson should do if he wants to come back. But it's very contradictory to the narrative that they've been peddling his whole career of, of muscles don't win fights. Skill wins fights. But it is what it is. We're going to carry on. Another point here from John Fury.
Listen, like I said, the horse has bolted. For mine, when he won both fights, they stole his belts off him. They've took the biggest ticket seller out the game. Because without Tyson Fury, there's no dance partners,
There is. There's plenty. I mean, granted, Tyson Fury is a huge name and a big personality, but he's not the be-all, end-all of boxing. Like, boxing isn't Tyson Fury. There's still a lot of great fights that can be made even if Tyson Fury's not there. And they'll probably be easier to make because they'll be less like, I want this, I want that, I want 500 million, I want a 70-30 split, I want a rematch clause, I want this. People are just going to get fights made now because they're not going to be as awkward to deal with. Is he a good dance partner? Yeah, of course he is, but he's not the be-all, end-all, John. Get out of his arse, bro. Get his dick out your mouth.
This thing what's happening now, Usyk and the other one, the bar, that's never going to be a 95,000 crowd. You need a dance partner. And let me tell you, Tyson Fury, the Gypsy King, is the best dance partner anyone can ever have. If you want money, big money, without the Gypsy King, you're not getting it.
And that's the problem with the Furies. They're focused solely on money. Usyk wants legacy. Usyk doesn't give a fuck about money. He don't care. He wants legacy. The reason why he's taking this Dubois rematch after finishing him is because there's a bit of controversy there with the low blow. He wants to clear it up. He could stay away from Dubois and he could say, you know what? No, I'm not fighting you, bro. I already beat you once. Work your way back up. Beat a few contenders, not just AJ. But he's taking that fight for legacy to prove a point. Not everyone cares about money, bro. I know it's shocking for you to think. Usyk doesn't care about money. He wants he just wants legacy fights. That's literally all he wants to do. And he's creating a great legacy already. Back to back beating the two best British heavyweights of recent time. In AJ twice, Fury twice, both back-to-back wins. Okay. And now he's going to go fight Dubois and beat him for a second time, I think. Then what? He could retire. He said he's got 2 more in the tank. I don't even think he needs this Dubois fight. I genuinely think Usyk could retire now and call it a day. But I guess we'll see what he wants to do.
Don't get me wrong, it's all decent money to a pauper like me with nothing. But like I say, if you want the mega bucks, you've got to include the Gypsy King. You know, like I said, they've shot themselves in the foot. It's just bad business. But they think, okay, we'll rob you today, let the dust settle, we'll offer you a few more quid later on, and we'll get you back at it. But guess what?
It's bad business to go against Tyson Fury. So what he's saying there is, pretty much, in a nutshell, is you should have given Tyson the decision because it's good for business. Not because he won the fight clearly. It's bad business. Because Tyson makes the money. It's not about business. It's about who's the better fighter, John. He's like saying... He's really trying to make out like that. Well, they've shot themselves in the foot there, guys, because now they're not going to make loads of money because they've given it to Usyk. I said after the second Usyk fight, if they were going to rob anyone, it would make sense for them to rob Usyk to set up a trilogy and make loads more money. Why would they rob Tyson twice? It makes literally no fucking sense. If they really wanted to capitalize on the money, as John Fury's saying, that's all that matters apparently in boxing, they would have robbed Usyk. They would have given it to Fury to set up a trilogy fight and make it even bigger. You know, the rubber match. Who's going to take it this time? You know, who's really the best? That would have made a fuckload more money. But Tyson just didn't win. Tyson just didn't get the job done. Unfortunately, I know you struggle to really comprehend that, John, but that's just the reality of the situation, my friend.
You can't do that with him now because he's had enough. Because he believes now he's had his belt stolen off him, which he has had. You know, and he thinks, okay,
he hasn't.
Jog on. There's no more Gypsy King. So they've cost themselves money, haven't they?
Well, let me just clear one thing up. Tyson Fury hasn't retired because he's annoyed at boxing. He's retired because he's a salty motherfucker and he just can't handle losing. And he knows if he goes in a third time, he's going to lose again. And he's embarrassed. He's ashamed of himself. He can paint it up how he wants. He just doesn't like losing. It's not because, boxing has mistreated me this whole time. You've lost twice. How has boxing mistreated you? You know? You got robbed against Wilder in that first fight. You won that fight, fair enough. And then you beat him up you bullied him in that second fight, right? And then you knocked him out in the third fight. You know, like, you're not being mistreated by boxing. You're just not as good as Usyk. That's why you retire, because you can't handle it. That's just the facts, bro. The sooner you come to terms with the fact that Usyk's better, you'll be a lot happier and a lot more content. So will you, John Fury.
Cost yourself millions and millions of dollars through not doing the right stuff, you know what I'm saying? And look, no disrespect to Alexander Usyk, great fighter, you know, all weight division champion, you know, but he hasn't got the charisma or the selling power, the pulling power Tyson Fury has.
I disagree. I really disagree. I think Usyk is more likable. He's more marketable. People love Usyk. He's hilarious. He's unintentionally funny. He's a really nice guy. And he's got the skills to back it up. And he is a funny guy. I think he has got charisma. It's just not the same charisma as Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury's got charisma where he tries too hard to sound. He tries too hard to be charismatic. And it comes off irritating. And he's very outspoken. He contradicts himself constantly. It's annoying. I think Usyk is just as charismatic as Tyson Fury. Don't know if I'm the only one. I would rather see an Usyk build up to a fight than a Fury build up, because I know what I'm going to get with Fury. It's gonna be a load of delusional nonsense, a lot of just shit trash talk, calling someone a bum, You know, oh, you're ugly. You're ugly. Look at your teeth. You're an ugly rabbit. High school insults. You know what? Usyk's funny. You know, on the Piers Morgan show, when Piers was like, "Is Dubois the hardest hitter that you've ever been punched by?" And he's like, "No, I get punched by a horse." And Piers is like, "Horse?" And Usyk's like, "The horse punched me, and I sleep." You know, it's funny. Oh, it's funny. You don't have to be like so outspoken and ridiculous, you know, to like sell fights. You don't need to. We go to 14-12, I believe.
The moves back, because for me, he's lost all that movement. The movement he had, the trickiness, the jerky, the thing that made him great, they've took away from him.
I agree. I actually agree with that as well. Tyson Fury, everyone knew Tyson Fury for his movement. Oh, he moves like a middleweight. He moves like a middleweight. No one at heavyweight should move as fast and as slick as Tyson Fury. And they did. They did take that from him. I do agree with that. And that was how he got to where he was. But at the same time, taking that away and giving him the punch power, or like the knockout ability, is the reason how he beat Wilder. So he doesn't need to be irky-jerky, right, to beat Wilder, but he maybe did need to be irky-jerky to beat Usyk. You know, it's styles. You know, different styles make fights, and I do agree with him. I actually agree with I agree with John Fury on this point. I really do. That's what made Tyson great, and that's what made him like so slick as a boxer. It was like irky-jerky style, and they did take it from him. So, spitting facts for a change for John.
Because every heavyweight can hit, and every heavyweight can stand there and trade shots. You know, and for my money, over the last 4 years, took a lot of punishment. And maybe that's put miles on the clock. Maybe it's ended his career. You don't know. You know.
I don't know if that's the reason his career's ended. I think he's just not as good as Usyk and he can't handle it. But I do agree, the irky-jerky style was the best Tyson Fury. But saying that again, he dominated Wilder. But saying that, Wilder's shit. So he should dominate Wilder. He's fucking terrible. You know, like. But John Fury does have some good points in this. He does. Like I said, I don't disagree with everything that he says, but for the most part, I really, really do. We moved to 1901. Look at that face. All right, let's listen.
He's got to. What can I say? He's got to put his. He's got to spend time on his physique. Forget the boxing. He needs 12 months on his physique properly to get some muscle on his frame.
I'm sorry, what? This is the same guy that said about AJ, muscles don't win fights. Muscles don't win fights, AJ. This fat man's going to beat you. Muscles don't win fights. And now he's saying he needs to get muscle. Hold on a minute. I thought it didn't matter about the muscle, John Fury. I thought all it matters is about skill. About skill. Which is it? It can't be both. As soon as he loses, he goes, it's probably because he's fat. But whilst he's winning, this fat man's showing all of these bodybuilders up. This fat man's showing all these bodybuilders up. You don't need to be a bodybuilder. You don't need muscle to win fights. And now he probably needs muscle to win fights. You know? I agree. He should take time out and take time with his physique and get in better shape. But you can't be saying this shit now, John Fury, when his whole career you were going on about, and so was Tyson, about how this fat man's going to beat everyone and you don't need muscle. Muscle doesn't win fights. His whole career you were saying that, and now he loses two. I think he just needs to get some more muscle. Make your mind up. Which is it? Does he need muscle? Do you not need muscle to win fights? Does muscle win fights? Does it not win fights? You need to pick a stance and stick to it, bro.
You know, and if he's not prepared to work his rocks off for the next 6 months, just getting his body right, he's got the boxing side of it covered. You cannot teach a great champion like him nothing. He's a boxer tricks. But what's letting him down is his physical condition, his lack of muscle, his lack of body strength, and his lack of power. because they're not using the muscles and working the muscles you need at that level.
I agree, John Fury, that he should take his physique more seriously and be in better shape. But you've been peddling this narrative his whole career of Tyson doesn't need muscle. Tyson doesn't need muscle to win. Tyson's just the best boxer. He could beat everyone fat. Blah blah blah. He's been out the ring fat and he's come back fat and he's beating all these guys. And now he loses a few and it's like, well, no, he needs muscle. Really, I was only joking. It's funny how 2 losses and John Fury's entire opinion on Tyson Fury's approach to boxing changes completely. Now he needs to work on his physique. Coming from this guy. Let's carry on now. So we move to 2303, and this is where John Fury, I believe, talks about his role in the corner, because a lot of people were giving him shit. A lot of people were saying John Fury shouldn't have been in that corner. John Fury made that worse. He wasn't helping at all. He was just yapping and shouting over Sugar Hill. This is John Fury's response to that, and this is his opinion on his role in the corner. This is the wild take, I'm pretty sure, but we'll see.
He was listening to the wrong instruction when he got caught, going to the left of a southpaw. I'm a southpaw. You don't go to the left on me because I'll catch you. He was listening to the ill advice. There's too many people in the corner.
Yeah. There was, John. It was you that was the two. You're not his coach. You're not his trainer. What are you doing in the corner yapping over the trainer? I agree, too many men in the corner. That was your doing, John. You shouldn't have fucking been there, mate. Shouldn't have fucking been there. You fat cunt. Well, let's carry on, though, because listen to John. Listen to him.
His father, and if it wasn't for me, he wouldn't. He won. He not only stayed in the fight, he won the 11th. He shared the 10th because his legs was gone in the 10th. Because he was a miracle man to get out of the 9th round. But it was me what kept him in there. If it had been left to them, he'd have been knocked out.
Thank God John Fury was there to shout over Sugar Hill and give Tyson instructions. John Fury's the world-class coach, guys. John Fury's the world-class coach. Thank God John Fury was in there. Otherwise, Tyson Fury would have been long gone. John's the reason why Tyson lasted the whole fight. I'm the reason he lasted the whole fight. I'm the reason he lasted 12 rounds. If it was up to them, he'd have been knocked out. Absolute delusion. In what universe, John, are you the reason that Tyson lasted 12 rounds? He probably didn't even know what he probably didn't even know what you were fucking. He was probably so locked in on sugar, he didn't even listen to you. All he heard was you going. Oh, you're probably the reason that he lost. One of the well, saying that you wasn't, because you weren't in there in the second fight. You still fucking lost. So you are not the reason he lasted 12 rounds. Absolute delusion from this man. Proper just. He's just such a. He's such an idiot. He's actually an idiot, bro. It's so funny.
Because it was me what said, right, you got to get behind your jab, you got to box, slip and slide, move around, use your brains, and just get your legs back. And he did that. And he won the 11th and the 12th. So like I say.
Wow, John Fury. You should have just coached him from the start. Like, why even get Ben Davidson and Sugar Hill in? Why even get him in? If you're just like this world-class trainer, bro, why don't you just fucking take over? I'm the reason he lasted until the 12th round. Unreal.
Have Sugar Hill. Why didn't Lennox Lewis have him?
Oh, here we go. Listen to this. Are you ready for this now? He's now going to criticize Sugar Hill for being a shit coach. Ready?
Why didn't Tommy Hearns have Sugar Hill? Why didn't Lennox Lewis have him? Why didn't all the other Kronk fighters have him? There's a reason for it. Why has all these British fighters had him and sacked him? Because he's incapable.
He's the reason Tyson became WBC champion when he came back. You do realise that, right? Sugar Hill created a game plan against Wilder that got Tyson the belt back. He's not incapable, John. It's just Usyk's better than Tyson Fury. He's blaming everyone. He's blaming the judges. He's blaming Saudi. He's blaming Sugar Hill. The one person he's not blamed yet for just saying that he's just not as good as Usyk is Fury. The only thing he said was he was a bit fat. It's everyone else's fault, apart from Tyson Fury's. But even then, saying that Tyson Fury's fat, he's blaming the coaches for that. They're not training him properly. They're not doing real conditioning, this and that. So it's still not Tyson's fault. It's everyone else's fault, apart from Fury. Okay, cool. Got it, John.
I'm the first to say it. I don't mind the man as a man. I'm talking on boxing terms only. The man's a very nice man. He's never done me no harm in any way, shape or form. But we're talking boxing politics here. You know what I'm saying to you? And they just don't work Tyson hard enough. He's too soft with him. And Tyson's telling him what to do half the time. And like I say, they're not going to tell him he's wrong.
It's just complete delusion. It's just like saying that Sugar Hill doesn't know what he's doing. And this is why all these boxers didn't have Sugar Hill. Like, Sugar Hill's the reason that he got the belt back. Like, they came up with the game plan of just pressuring Wilder, pressure him, bully him, lean on him, fuck him up. And it worked. It just doesn't work against a fighter like Usyk. Usyk's just too slick. That's just all it comes down to. It's nothing to do with Sugar Hill. It's just Usyk's better. That's all it is, John. You're a fucking... Blame Tyson Fury. Or just don't even blame him. Just say, Usyk's better. I mean, fair. Usyk's just the better fighter. It's just how it is, No shame in that, bro. This is just embarrassing, though.
Because you need the money. What I can say is, the public can kiss my bell end. So I couldn't give one flying fuck about them.
I love that. What a quote.
And like I say, they're not going to tell him he's wrong. Because you need the money. What I can say is, the public can kiss my bell end. So I couldn't give one flying fuck about them.
The public can kiss my bell end. What an absolute quote. What a quote that is. The public can kiss my bell end. I don't give a flying fuck. Amazing quote from John Fury, that is. We can all kiss his bell end. Lucky us, huh? Lucky us. Look at his face, dude. He's just... He can't take criticism, and we're going to get into this here. I'm pretty sure it might be this. It might be this timestamp here. We have two more. This might be the one that I'm on about. We can't take criticism from anyone. None of the Furies can, but this might be it.
And properly, Tommy's had a million opportunities to go.
No, sorry. This is about Tommy Fury, and John Fury's take on how he's helped Tommy Fury in his career. Again, delusion, but we'll listen.
And start again properly. Tommy's had a million opportunities to go. He's had a million of them. You know what he said? Dad, they don't train anything. They don't do any work. They don't do nothing. He's here for a reason, isn't he? I know it's on a lot lower level, but look how I've guided this kid.
Look how I've guided this kid to fight KSI and Jake Paul. And they were shit fight. They were terrible fights. Terrible. And his fight the other night was terrible. He looked like shit. In that 6th round, at the end of the 6th round, just dancing around, avoiding him, because he knew he won. Just a fighting man. The Furies are fighting men. No. Look how I've guided this kid. Like he's on track to becoming a world champion. He won't even be like, what boxing, like continental champion or fucking British. He won't even be British champion. He won't be British champion. He won't be European champion. He won't be anything. Look how I've guided this kid. He was on Misfits twice. Nearly a 3rd time until he pulled out. He pulled out of a Misfits fight because he was scared that that Darren Till was going to do a head kick. He crumbled in the mind games. Because Darren Till said that if I'm fucking losing, I'll just fucking throw a head kick. Like he was actually going to do that shit. And Look how I've guided this kid. Oh, yeah. You know what, John? You've done so well with Tommy Fury's career so far. He's doing really, really well. Good point.
Look what I've put him in his life. Don't get me wrong, he's had to do it himself, but there's only one man guided him because he'd been ate alive with them wolves out there if it wasn't for me. And I'm gonna...
He's so clueless. It's all thanks to me that Tommy's where he is. He was an alcoholic like last year. He resorted to drink. You've not guided him very well. All of he was an alcoholic. Guided him. Look where I've guided him. To drink, you know. To Misfits, and then he pulled out of a Misfits fight, and then he started drinking. He became an alcoholic. Look where I've guided this kid. Look what I've done for his career. Really, really, really good, John Fury. You've smashed it, mate. You've done really, really well. We have one more timestamp. 28:09. And then we're going to wrap it up. That final thoughts.
In the year. And at the end of the day, if they want to say something to me and derogatize me, come and do it where we can say, okay, me and you, let's step outside now and have a go. There'll be no messing about. Come on, we'll have a go now. I don't need any 12-week training camps, me. I'll have a go down today. You know what I'm saying? But here's messages for all them wankers. Stay where you are. Keep away from me and my family. You're not needed. Don't like you. Don't want to see you. I've only got time for nice people like over here.
So basically, if you criticise me, we're going to go and fight. What a secure man. That's when you know that he's so insecure. Like, if you say anything nasty to me, we're going to fight. If you criticise me, we're in a fight. I don't give a fuck what any of you wankers have to say, but I'll fight you. It's pathetic, John. You need to sort yourself out. Just because people criticise you doesn't mean you need to fight them. Maybe you should take it on board. Maybe you should take it on board, you know? Like, maybe they're criticising you for a reason, John. Like, maybe it's not just like they're all just hating for no reason. You know what I mean? But here's my final thoughts. I agree with John Fury when he says that Tyson's out of shape and needs to get in better shape. However, it's quite funny that he's saying that now he's lost 2 fights, because his whole career he was saying that it doesn't matter about being in shape and having the muscles and having this and that, because all it matters is about skill. Now he's changed the narrative because Tyson's lost 2 fights. Quite funny. Tyson didn't get his belt stolen. He lost them fair and square. If they were going to rob anyone, they'd rob Usyk to set up a trilogy to make more money. That's the only thing that makes logical sense to me. Like that, since you want to make so much money, John, that's the only thing that makes sense to make money is rob Usyk, set up a trilogy, get it done. All right, and look how I've guided Tommy Fury. He's shit. He fought KSI, he fought Jake Paul, pulled out against Darren Till, turned to alcohol, became an alcoholic. You've not guided him well at all, John. And then his fight last night against a nobody, against a bum, he did shit. He looked terrible. He looked awful. He's only getting worse. He looked better in his debut. He's only getting worse. Well, that's all thanks to John Fury. He's a clown. He's a clown. Let me know what you think about John Fury. Right. I know what people are going to say about John Fury. He's a clown, and he's a delusional clown, and he needs to be. He's very unaware. He has no self-awareness whatsoever. But that's just how it is. That's how all the Furies are. Like and subscribe. Links down below. Till next time. I'll see you in a bit.